This video is going to be about, why do men reserve or I guess hide their true feelings? I'm sure growing up, if you're a man, you've heard be strong, you're a man, you're a protector, grow up. You've heard a couple of those catchphrases. The modern man, right, in most other people's eyes, like women, they want a man to be strong, right? If you convey any sort of weakness, sadness, most men feel like you're ultimately going to be taken advantage of or looked down upon. You see a man crying, you see a man upset, you see a man in pain. Most men don't want to be seen like that because then they're going to be labeled as weak. And I think we've all grown up kind of like that, especially like Gen Z. I'll go millennials too, where men, you have to be strong. You can't cry. If you cry, you're a bitch. And I think that kind of negative, toxic way of raising men is what created us today, right? You see a whole bunch of men that aren't confident to go up to women anymore. They're not confident to even talk to people anymore because they're afraid, like, if they mess up or if they say something wrong, then they feel like they're just going to be, like, outcasted. And society has raised men to be like this for decades now, and this is, like, the cost of that. I'll be the first person to say that, like, if I get mad at somebody, if I get upset with somebody, they say something to me, I'm more than likely going to hide my feelings. Or if I'm upset about something, if something happened, I'm more than likely not going to say anything, because I think for me, I don't ever want to put my problems on somebody else. I've always been like that, and what it boils down to is that's not really a great way to express your emotions and your feelings. You should always try to talk to people. I've been better with that more of recently, but I'm still like that, where, like, I just don't, if something's really bothering me, I know, like, I can't really say it. I don't know why. Like, I feel like as a whole, society has kind of put, like, a muzzle on us men, where if we break down and we get upset when we're talking to somebody, we're labeled as weak because of that. I've grown to handle my physical and mental problems on my own. I have a great loving family around me, but like I said, I never want to put my problems on somebody else. I've grown to be moderately independent in, trying to get most of my stuff done. If somebody helps me, I'm just like, I got it. I'm a man. I don't need your help. And that's very toxic. Like, you should always try to ask for help, especially if you don't know what you're doing. I think most men today, we want to be able to do stuff on our own because that's how we were raised. You're a man. You have to do it on your own. You don't need help. What are you talking about? And then we end up messing up, falling into a rut, and then that's how most of us get to where we're at, with not being confident, not being expressive with our ideas. And if we do have problems going on, most of us will either bottle it up and be quiet on our own. We'd rather just be distracted by work. Go to work, you don't think about it, you're just in the mix of things, you're just getting your job done. That's a big distraction. And playing games, that's a big one too. You see most men nowadays playing games, going to work, handling it on their own. That's how we handle most of our problems. I remember being in, like, middle school, right? And this was like, we were like 12, 13 years old, and this kid, he had just found out that his cousin in the military had, unfortunately, and it was a really horrific event, and he got the phone call in school, which, number one, I thought that was a bad idea already. Like, why couldn't his family have waited to tell him after school? But when he had told me, like, his cousin was like a brother to me, I was like, okay, that kind of makes more sense. But they had told him that, and we were having lunch, and I remember he came back, and with not even knowing what was going on, right, he sat at the other end of the lunch table. He just wanted to be by himself, and he had, like, his hoodie up, what is, like, the things that you use to tighten your hoodie, and he was sitting there and he was crying, and you could see the tears coming. And everybody else was kind of looking at him and laughing at him. And I remember being like, yo, stop laughing at him. Something's obviously wrong. And like, you guys are sitting there mocking him. So I know for a fact, I don't talk to the kid anymore, but I know he's going to remember that for the rest of his life. Just lost his brother after his brother just died, and everyone's sitting in the cafeteria laughing at him. I know he's going to have some kind of traumatic experience from that, because people laugh at weak stuff like that. I'm calling to all the men out there, if you have problems, if you have stuff going on, don't be afraid to put them in my comments section. I always want to be able to help a person out, whether it's if they got problems going on, I can give them advice, or if you just need to express or vent what's going on in your life, most of us want to do that in a setting like YouTube, right? I think YouTube has been very positive for men. I've been seeing a lot of channels promoting Men's Mental Health Month. You know, the month of November, I've seen so many videos of other men being like, hey, if you have stuff going on, talk to me, talk to somebody, reach in my DM. So I'm going to be just like that as well. If you have stuff going on, or you just want to say something in the comments just to get it off your chest, you know, you don't know me, you're not going to feel judged, right? Because I'm a random person to you. You know, you don't know who I am, I don't know who you are, but if I can at least say some encouraging words to you, I think that that's a positive experience for the both of us, right? I think a lot of men nowadays are lacking like a true older mentor, as far as like older men who have been through experiences that we're going through and then are able to talk to younger men. I think most younger men don't have that. They don't have that gateway to be able to talk to somebody who's walked the same path as them, who has encountered the same kind of relationships and like them. Most of us just don't have that in our lives, and that's why we're so confused and we bottle stuff up and we push it away because we don't have true outlets. So if you're struggling, just like I said, don't be afraid to reach out to somebody. Really don't be afraid to talk to anybody. I think the tides are starting to shift for men, and I think in the next like 5 to 10 years we're going to experience a shift where it's going to be a lot better for us. Like I said, with reaching out for mental health, it was not taken seriously the last couple decades, and now people are really starting to realize like, hey, start talking, start, you know, being aware of your emotional well-being. And overall, if you made it this far into the video, I appreciate you for watching. Like I said, comments are open for discussion, and I'll see you guys in the next video.